right, guys. Thank you for joining us today. Let us know how we sound and how do we look. Like I hear some kind of a feedback. I just don't know where the hell that's coming from. Strange. Someone said it's 36. Sorry for your loss. Okay, that's not us. All right, all right. Yeah, there's something. There's another sound in the background.
Well, let me mute again and see if it goes away.
All right. And the people are like, "Where you at?" But I'm like, "That's crazy. Something's up." That went away.
I still hear it when I mute myself. I still hear it on your end.
You do, right? Hold on. You hear it on my end?
Yeah, when I mute myself, I can still hear something going on.
Okay. They see him. Crap. Nope. Can't hear. People are saying they can't hear. So now let me. Not that I don't trust them. I just got to figure out this problem. And it's crazy. We were on here and it was like it was fine. Then I go on there and it's a fucking shit show.
Well, hey, hold on just a minute, because I got my phone sitting out on the porch. I don't think it has anything to do with this at all.
Oh,
Let me go make sure that there ain't nothing going on my phone right quick.
gotcha. Gotcha. Go ahead. It's okay now. Can't hear you. So some people saying they can't hear me. Some people saying they can. I think I am too low. My what you call it is down. So let's see. How's that now? I think I am too low. My what you call it is down. So let's see. How's that now? Yeah, it's strange. I can hear it on the phone when you walk back in. I heard a feedback somewhere. Someone said good now. Do me a favor, talk.
Well, yeah, I mean, I turned everything off on my phone, but I didn't have anything on it really.
Someone said good now.
So
Do
I
me a
don't.
favor, talk.
And the only thing I got opened up on my laptop is just you.
Yeah, man, I turned everything on. Yeah, sounds good now. Now people are saying there's an echo. Well, one person said echo. All right, does anybody else hear an echo? Before we get into it, can't hear up. You're low again. Hello, 10-4. No, I'm good on my end. My I can hear now. I can hear now. Echoing, delayed echo. That's strange. All right. All right. How about now? Can you hear me now? No, I'm low again. Oh shit. I know what it is. I know what it is. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. I had this problem last time and I completely forgot. Because. All right. How do I sound now? That should have fixed it.
You sound good to me now.
Yeah? I sound louder?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. All right. All right. All right. That should be good. All right. 5 by 5. Good, good, good. All right, good. We're in business. It's in Skype. I had to fix Skype. Fucking stupid app. All right. All right, man. So, guys, tonight we're trying something a little different. All right. So, I actually have subjects I want to talk about, but I had Arkansas Living here. This is who you guys are looking at. For those of you that don't know, we're going to talk about We're going to talk about these subjects together. So instead of me just staring at the camera and talking shit, I have a guest on Arkansas Living, who you should head over to channel, by the way, and like and subscribe. It's one of those. It's one of those channels that I do appreciate because first of all, he keeps his videos pretty short, but when he does live stream, the shit gets crazy. So it's pretty cool. So it's pretty cool. It's appreciated. So we're gonna start out with like three basic questions, maybe two. All right. And my first question to you is, what got you into prepping?
Well, man, I grew up without having a whole lot, and I mean, I guess we was kind of prepping when prepping wasn't cool, to be honest. I mean, if we didn't, if back before it was even called that,
Okay.
I mean, we kept stuff back because we didn't ever know when the money was coming in or when or whatever, and I just kind of kept that mindset when I growed up, and I don't know. I mean, I grew up with it.
Right. So then, to you, it wasn't prepping; it was just everyday living. You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. That's pretty cool. So then, my next question is, what prompted you to start the channel?
Uh, to be, excuse me, to be completely candid about it, I started the channel just it was kind of supposed to be therapy for me and maybe do some instructional stuff for the kids, and it just kind of turned into something else.
Very good. Very good. All right. No, just read some of the comments. No, and that's the thing. You might be the third, fourth guy I heard say that. I heard say that they were like, yo, I did this because I just wanted to talk into the camera, and then it turned into something else, which is good. If it's therapy and to help, very good. All right, someone is all right. So enough for the cute questions. Let's jump right into the subjects that I had written down. So, what is your take on the Florida water treatment hack? And I know that where you live, it's fairly rural. How would you counter that or prepare for that?
Um, as far as countering and preparing for it, I mean, our water system doesn't is a completely different type of water system than what they have down there, and it's not something. I mean, you could contaminate our water system if you wanted to, but most of our water systems in this parts are well-based water systems.
Okay.
So we're pulling up out of an aquifer and we're filling elevated tanks and that kind of deal. We're not actually purifying anything. Now, at the same time, a lot of the stuff that I do, and I don't want to talk about it too much on the internet because it is vulnerable. But a lot of the stuff that I do has to do with remote telemetry and SCADA systems and stuff like that that have to do with water and sewer systems.
Okay.
So, I mean, as far as dealing with it, rain catchment would be a really good idea just to have a backup until everything got cleared up. But for the most part in our area, um, unless somebody hacked into something up here and put too much chlorine in the water or something like that, I mean, all they'd have to do is just drain the tank and fill it back up again. It's a little bit different situation here than it would be down there in South Florida.
All right. So I mean, and that's interesting that you said you didn't want to mention it on here. On the internet, that is. Do you think more attacks like this are likely, and do you think this was an attack?
I think it probably was, and yes, I do think it's going to be more likely. I mean, if I'm a redneck on a laptop in my truck, and I could probably take down a town with about 10 people.
Wow. Oh shit. So it's safe to say that our infrastructures, when it comes to water and the electrical system, you think do you think they're unprotected, and we should be more concerned about about them, or should we business as usual? which they're treating it like, by the way.
No, it shouldn't be business as usual. This is something that we should all be more concerned about. I mean, if somebody like me knows how to do stuff, um, you should definitely be more concerned about it because there's a whole lot of folks out there that's got a whole lot more knowledge and's got a whole lot more powerful software and stuff than I do. And I've logged into PLCs from here in California and saw stuff that nobody on the internet was supposed to see, and I ended up having to call them and tell them about it, so and teach them how to protect it.
So is that your side job? I would say your how do you call it, guys? Not a computer nerd, but like a software engineering kind of security.
No, not really. I mean, I do a lot of industrial PLC programming and that kind of deal,
Okay.
and a lot of automation controls and that kind of thing. And I'm not an IT guy, and you obviously know I'm not a videographer.
Yeah.
But but I mean, I know how to get into stuff. A lot of the equipment and stuff like that I work on, I can actually work on remotely, and whether you're doing it through VPNs or whether you're getting into a plant network or something like that, and it's very vulnerable. People need to understand that it's not something to be taken lightly.
All right. So then, and now, as a prepper, I have to ask this question because I'm curious as to what other people think. Do you think that we should be, um, as preppers, do you think we should know about our water supply? Right. So, like for example, here in New York, we have three aqueducts, and we have 19 reservoirs and three controlled lakes. Do you think we should know where our water comes from?
Absolutely. I think you need to know where that your I think you need to know where your water comes from. I think you need to know how you're going to provide for your family for water. If if something what
Gotcha.
happened?
All right. Oh
We
shit.
got an echo.
Do we have an echo? Yeah. Just
Yeah,
hold on. How about now?
that's better.
That's better, right? I
I
think.
can still I can still hear myself, but it's a lot lower.
All right. It's weird. It's very very strange. But oh okay. I think I know what it is. I'll fuck with it later. But I think I know what it is. If it's not annoying, then I'll keep going.
But no, I think it's important to always have redundancies. Especially if you have children, that kind of deal. I mean, even at my house, I've got two wells on my property, but we're on municipal water, a very rural municipal water. But I still have a couple of Baylor buckets built that I keep in my shop just in case I need to dip water out of one of the wells and I don't have a pump ready, or something like that.
Gotcha.
So,
You know what? And it's funny. I mean, we have that option here in the city, but not like you. You can store water. I mean, by the drums where you live, and here in an apartment, can't do that. But we do have our ways around it, but nowhere near what you guys can do. All right, so the sound is great. So now, listen. Being that you were talking about it being a security issue. Now, this was my weird concern when I was looking up the water system here in New York City and where our water comes from. And some of it I knew, but a lot of it I didn't because after this attack went down, I said, "Fucking, let me look it up and see exactly what goes on with our water." Um, do you think that that information should be out there for us to just see, or should there be more uh, security around what we know about our water supply? Meaning, I guess a terrorist can look at this, right? He could look at exactly which lakes in the Catskill are New York City's and go and poison it.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is even if it wasn't on the internet, if they want to find it out, they're going to find it out. I think, I think it's a really good idea for as far as our small little government entities and stuff like that. If that the public should have the ability to access that information.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If and I think if more people paid attention to it, I think there'd probably be a lot bigger prepper community than what there already is.
You
If
know
that,
what? From your mouth to God's ears, dude, because people here, they just want to know one thing. They turn the
yeah.
faucet on and water comes out. That's it. You know? All right, so um on to the next subject, if you will. Disarming us. Now you know about HR 127, right? And you know about the other states that are coming up with bills to make their state a Second Amendment um, safe haven, if you will. What do you think? What do you think will come of that? The HR 127. I mean, sorry. And do you think they're trying to disarm us before some kind of war takeover?
I don't necessarily that it's going to be. I don't necessarily think that it's going to be a war that's immediately imminent.
Okay.
I mean, I hope that it is because I'd rather it be me than my son. But at the same time, um, whether this 127 bill passes now or not, there will eventually be one that passes that's very similar to it. And I think that's something that everybody ought to be ready for.
Okay, that's a good point. Now, as far as getting ready for something like that, um, here's my issue with that. And I talked about Civil War 3.0 with you behind the scenes, right? And how that it's a different version of a civil war. And we're going to get into that a little later. But um, the problem with the disarming us thing, at least for me, is that I see myself and others going down this hole of more conspiracy theories, right? And how we have to negotiate those kind of that kind of talk, if you will, not so much thinking, because it's good to think that way, but keep it to yourself or share it with others. But how do we not scare people into preparing for something like that?
Well, I think it's the same kind of thing that happens when like down here where we live at, every time there's a little old snowstorm or every time somebody's predicting a tornado or something like that, everybody goes and buys milk, bread, and eggs.
Yeah.
That's something that I like to compare it to. And the thing about it is it don't do no good to get scared. It does do you good to pay attention and form your own opinions about stuff,
Right.
you know?
Okay.
So, I mean, that's I guess I don't really have any good advice about that other than form your own opinion.
Thank you. Wolf Mule 99. Thank you for the donation. I know that shit was like 10 minutes ago. I apologize. Sorry. But again, thank you for the donations. We appreciate it. All right. So with this whole disarmament thing going on, do you think? And now this is the next leading into the next question. Sorry. Do you think when I say they, I mean just anyone, whether it's the government, the elite, do you think people are purposely pushing for a civil war? And what I mean by that is look at all the things that are happening now, right? So people are getting canceled for whatever reason. And if the left says something, it's fine. But if the right says something, it's racist and homophobic. Do you think that there is a push for civil war?
This ain't something that I've said publicly, but I honestly think that I think that they're slowly trying to divide us, and it's not and I say slowly. there's a peak that's going to happen, and they're trying to separate everybody as much as they can, and they've been working on it for years and years and years. There's a whole bunch of indoctrination and stuff that's been involved, and that goes back into that goes all the way back into. I mean, if you want to start at racism and then go all the way up to wearing masks and that kind of thing and putting people against each other, that's what they want. That's what they're pushing us into, but they're doing it generation by generation, and it's a slow thing, but it's starting to feel like it's coming to a climax.
Now that was that's going to lead into the next subject that you said that, but all right. So, and you're right. The racism, I think, was definitely the first divide. I mean, in history books, the Irish and slaves got along pretty well because they were both in the same boat, if you will. But then, I don't know who the hell it was, but the whites, the Dutch, or whoever was running the country at the time, they were looking at this and going, "Oh no, we don't. We're not going to have this shit," and started paying the Irish a little better. And then the Irish got the idea that they were better than blacks, yada yada, and that's where the divide starts. But it became a financial thing at that point, right? So
Exactly.
right, so and we're still in a financial divide, if you will. The uppity rich folks, they look at us like, oh, look at those poor fools. How could they not eat, caviar, whatever the fuck rich people eat? But they definitely thumb their noses at us. Now, into the next subject, the Great Reset. Now, interestingly enough, you talked about the doctrines and stuff like that happened, years ago, and it was taking years to get there. Do you think the Great Reset, which it's confirmed, by the way, guys, it's you put some all right. So the Great Reset was confirmed. It's out online. If you Google it, not even Google it, you go on YouTube and type in the Great Reset, you'll see what they have planned for us, and it's out in the open. Elevate yourself. Agenda 21 is the Great Reset. They're just calling it something different. Now, what is your opinion on the Great Reset?
I wish that I wish I could invite them all over for supper. I I don't think I think it's going to happen. At least part of it, no matter what we do, and without those folks are so organized, and they've been planning this stuff for years and years. And I ain't trying to get all up into conspiracy stuff, but they've been planning this stuff for a long time, and they're taking advantage of whatever they can. And I don't really know why they decide to do it right now. But I don't think that, just regular old Joe Blow like me is going to be able to do anything about it unless we all get organized. But it's going to be bad. I think we're heading into some hard times, and I really hope folks are listening and start doing some stuff about it.
No, and you're right. So, guys, I'm putting the first video of the Great Reset by the World Economic Forum. So the link's in. You got to watch the video after this. Watch the video, and the conspiracy theories that a lot of us were pegged out to be crazy. And listen, the Agenda 21, I heard about it, and I'm like, that sounds vaguely familiar. But then what they're doing now with the Great Reset is they're putting it out in the open. They're letting everybody see what the plan is. That's the crazy shit. And some people are pushing back, but to what extent? You know? Thank you, Tony. I like that one. The Great Circle Back. It's obviously going to turn into a thing. And it's good that you said what you said, and you said the way you said it. It's not tinfoil hat bullshit. It's real. Their mantra right now, one of their mantras is, "You will own nothing and you will be happy." Almost like they're telling you how to feel and what to feel. So hopefully, you guys saw that first link. The links, all the links tonight, will be in the description section below, including uh, Arkansas Living's YouTube channel. Which, by the way, I called you Arkansas Dave by accident.
What, Dave?
Yeah. So you
You
don't know where
get
that's from?
what?
You don't know where Arkansas Dave is from?
No, I don't guess.
No. All right. Young Guns too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember him. He had that pig sticker on him. I remember.
Yeah. I was talking to the wife. I'm like, yeah, I have Arkansas Dave on. I'm like, what the fuck? I said Arkansas Living. So it just rolled off the tongue pretty easily. But
That's funny.
yeah, that was actually the second time I had called you that. I was talking to somebody at work, and I mentioned your channel and a couple of channels. Like, yeah, Arkansas Dave. And I'm like, as soon as I said it, I was like, fuck, not Dave Living. Um, but yeah, people are like, when I mention old school shit, people are like, oh, where's that from? And then it just tells you how old I am. That's all. I'm calling him Dave. Oh, Grim said he's gonna call you Dave from now on. Arkansas Dave.
Graham can just come. He can.
There you go. Very good. Rich
Come
Mount,
here.
thank you for the donation. Sorry.
I mean, I ain't worried about Graham. I still got a box of stuff on my dash of my truck that I need to open up that Graham sent to me, and I ain't even opened it yet.
Oh,
I'm kind of scared to open it in front of my kids. I didn't know what was going to be in it.
no shit. What? Well, oh, I get what you're saying. All right. So, all right, let's get back to the world crumbling around us. As far as preppers go, what is your advice? Because this prepping shit for me is what it is. It's prepping, right? It's me adapting to a new way of preparing my family. Whereas you, this is your life. This is the way you lived. This is how it is for you, and you're used to it. So if some shit goes down, you only have to adapt a little bit, like probably very little. Whereas
Yeah.
myself, I would have to adapt a lot, even with all the bullshit that I do and know outdoors. It's still a large adaptation for me. How would you advise new preppers, or even preppers, period, to adapt to what might be coming, and if something happens, how to handle it?
Well, I normally would say I would normally say start small. Um, a little bit every week, and that's the way that a lot of people are probably still going to have to do it. But when you go to the store, if you're wanting to plan some spaghetti for the night, for one night of the week or something like that, buy 2 boxes of spaghetti. Um, you know, just do that a little bit at a time. But the way stuff's going right now, ramp it up just a touch if you're available, if you have the monetary, the words, if you have the ability to do it, financially, go ahead and get just a little bit more than what you think that you might need, and just put it back and start with that. And there's a lot of really good channels on the internet. I mean, I learned some stuff from Jason, talking about the 16 C's and stuff like that when I was watching one of his bug out bag videos the other day. I'm probably going to go back through my stuff. But you know, there's a whole bunch of good folks on the internet. While you have the ability to access the internet, gather as much knowledge as you can and go practice it. If you're talking about wanting to, if you're thinking about wanting to go out in the woods and play, or whatever, you need to go do it. Don't just talk about it. And now is the time to go do it, not when you need to figure out how to do it. And especially if you've got kids, you need to be taking them out and teaching them how to do it too. So,
No, that's great advice, man. Actually, very good advice. Listen, for all of the things I know, I learned from guys like you on the internet who've been doing this shit for a long time. Uh, Me myself, I had to adapt to another side of being outdoors and doing this shit. So now I see your background, man. How much hunting do you do?
oh, we do a whole bunch of hunting and trapping and all kind of stuff. I ain't showed much of it on the internet, but yeah, I mean we've been I've been hunting and trapping since I guess I started toting my first squirrel gun around in the woods when I was about 6 years old, I think, and
Wow.
we just been doing it ever since.
Damn. So I'd have to ask this question because I'm curious. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but I have to know. Um, do you have a bug out bag and do you have a bug out location?
It's out there in my truck, and I can bring it in here. But yeah, I've got 3 or 4 bug out locations.
Oh shit. Okay. I was I was so sure you were gonna say no because this is my fucking home and I ain't going anywhere. But you got
Well, no, I mean, for the most part, it's where I am. But because a lot of people, where I actually live at is a bug out location. But I've got some more remote places that I can go.
no shit. All right. Shit. That's way better. Listen, for you guys again that live out there, you guys are doing way better than us city folks, man. Right now, I mean, if I had to bug out, there are two spots that I can go to, but my wife isn't gonna like it. You know what I mean? That kind of living for a little while. She's definitely not gonna be a fan of it, but we shall see. So, when it comes to prepping, what is your best prepping skill?
I would say gardening and canning.
You can?
If I if I can group those together.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I wouldn't have pegged you for a canner.
Yeah, I got 20 pounds of chicken in the refrigerator right now waiting on me to can it, but I'm talking to y'all instead.
All right, so then, okay, how long does it take you to can that?
It's about I think canning chicken, I usually do it for 90 minutes. The way that I do it, which we can buy a 10-pound bag of chicken quarters for, I don't know, $5. And I cut the skin off of them and then cut all the meat off the bones, and I put the meat over there and I can the meat, and I put a little bit of chicken bouillon and maybe a little bit of Cavender seasoning or something in there with it, and I can that, and then I boil the skins and what's left of the meat and the bones and stuff like that in the stock pot, and I strain it off and I can the stock, and then we use it and chicken spaghetti, or my daughters will use it for ramen noodles or whatever, and it adds a lot more nutrition to it, that kind of deal.
We have to go back. You said chicken spaghetti?
Yeah, you ain't never had no chicken
No,
spaghetti?
I have not heard of chicken spaghetti. No way.
Dude, no, man, it's not like regular spaghetti. You don't put tomato sauce and stuff in it. It's like cheesy, and it's got rotel and stuff like that in
I gotta look it up now. I'm fucking curious. I, I mean, I'm a.
it's it's
Go
it's
ahead.
super good. It's awesome, man. It's great.
Oh, shit. All right, man. You're gonna make me look this shit up now.
My bad.
No, because you know what? I'm always into learning something new, especially again from rural places like that. But chicken spaghetti, that sounds to me like you said chicken spaghetti. I heard spam. That was it.
No, I got spam. Hold on a minute. I had to at least have some out here when I was going to go on camera with you.
Oh boy, I had an idea. So a lot of people are. Well, a couple people said chicken spaghetti like they were surprised too, or maybe it's just me.
Chicken chili is a thing too.
Well, chicken chili I know, but not chicken spaghetti. My wife says send us the recipe.
Okay. Well, I'll email it to you.
Oh man, oh, yes, that I will appreciate. I mean, she'll appreciate that. Well,
It's dude, it's super good. It's awesome. It's it's like cheesy chicken rotel spaghetti. It's really good.
all right. You know, like I said, my wife will make it, and at least if it doesn't taste good, I could blame her for fucking it up. So
Well, you can blame me for telling you about it.
yeah, that's true. I could do that too. uh, that's fair enough. But I don't know, man. It's all right. So now you said canning and gardening are your best prepping skills. What do you garden down there? First, I mean, like I don't know anything about gardening, so
Um, well, I raise tomatoes, peppers, onions. Right now, I've got a crop that I need to pull so that I can put some fertilizer back in the garden. But right now I've got mustard greens, turnip greens, and turnips. We use the turnips too, and icicle radishes, which you can eat the greens and the and the root crop off of them also. But I mean, in the springtime, uh, tomatoes, peppers, green beans, purple hull peas, um, squash, zucchini. We raise potatoes. I'm fixing to as soon as this cold snap gets over, I'm probably gonna have some potatoes in the ground, and you know, just regular old stuff.
well, you say regular stuff. I know nothing about it, so I have to ask you this question then. Um, when you, because a lot of people say they grow potatoes, is
Yeah.
there a difference in, I guess, that regular hard Irish shit versus the yellow potatoes to grow them, or is it like all one and the same?
I like the red ones.
Okay,
I,
yeah,
I like the red ones because well you can use the baby ones and you know, like in your stews and stuff like that, you don't even have to cut them up, and they're a lot softer texture whenever they're small like that. But I've always liked red potatoes. I like red potatoes for my hash browns and stuff like that. But if we're gonna cook deer stew or beef stew or something like that, I like to use them yellow ones.
all right.
But but I mean, as far as growing them goes, they grow about the same. The yellow ones get bigger.
Do you can you can you can the yellow potatoes with the chicken, or does that have to be done separately?
No, you can do it the same. The potatoes might come. They might the texture might not be the same because you have to can chicken for such a long period of time.
Right.
Um, but um, but yeah, you can can it in there with them. I like to try to can stuff separate. Most of the time, the only most you know, and that way you can make meals out of let's just grab this, and that kind of deal. But as far as canning stuff together, if you're going to make like chicken soup or chicken noodle soup or that kind of deal, or if you're going to make beef stew, those are some of the things that we can together. But I like to can just like chicken by itself and beef by itself and things like that, and that way we can we can put them together and make a meal, and we're not forced to make a meal out of what we can, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes perfect sense because I'm sitting here thinking, I want to can next week. Right? What's today? Thursday, and I want to get my first canning uh, experience done. So one, people will leave me alone. Two, I can actually learn something new, and that's why I'm picking your brain about it. So hopefully next week I could do. Uh, Alaskan Alaska Prepper said the easiest thing to can is beans, and I think he said chicken. Those are
Yeah, yeah. Chicken's not hard, and well, beans ain't hard either. You got to be careful how many beans you put in a jar. But one of the things, and I love Rudy to death. One of the things that I disagree with about canning beans is that it's a lot easier for me to store beans dry
right.
than it is for me to, and it takes up less space, it takes up less of my stuff, and it takes up less of my time to just store beans and stuff in a bucket than it is for me to can them. I mean, I understand the convenience, but I wouldn't want to store a whole bunch of beans up that were canned. I would rather keep the majority of them dry.
Okay. All right. So then I'm gonna skip that. The only reason why it's funny because when he said beans, I'm like, well, hell, I keep my beans dry. Like I have them vacuum sealed. So I put them in a vacuum seal pack. I made sure they were thin, and then I have them like almost like records, if you will, with beans in a closet. And I'm like, that saves up way more room than putting them in a can. But it's still something for me to try. But I'll give it a shot. All right, guys are using the custom emojis, and I can't see them on this app, but it just says no spam and all kinds of crazy shit next to it. Mary, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Jules Goldstein, thank you for joining the club. Native Prepping and Devout, thank you for joining the club. And there was Northern Girl Hobbies, thank you for joining the club. I appreciate it. I can't see the membership thing on the app really well, so forgive me if I miss a name. Um, all right, back to the interview. I'm sorry for that. I am going to do the channel shout out in about 5 minutes or so. So just be forewarned. Listen,
Hey,
go ahead.
no, I was going to ask you. I mean, would it? I mean, I normally don't do this on the internet, but would it bother you if I smoked?
No, I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't give a shit. I mean, whatever. What are they gonna do? Fucking, stop the live stream? They're probably not even fucking watching. Uh,
Well,
yeah, whatever. They probably got tired of my shit. And oh yeah, Great Man Prepping. Thank you for joining the club as well. Uh, like I said, I know it's a bunch of you guys that joined this morning. Uh, so I do have to give you guys a shout out. Give me 2 seconds, real quick. Hopefully, I don't crash my computer. Stupid machine. So, my next question is: are you prepared? And I don't know how. Like a lot of you guys that live down there, you have guns, you have ways to protect yourselves, but are you prepared to hold it down? Um, how do you say, defense wise, and how long can you hold it down, defense wise?
I don't know how long. Um, we do have kind of a little network, and we're trying to get commo and stuff like that set up. We know what bridges that we want to take down, and what that way we can set up different avenues of approach and different stuff like that. I'm not going to get too deep into that though.
No, 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 no. Absolutely not. Um, we get it, but I mean, listen, it's good. I live in a city. I don't have firearms, and even if I did, I'm pretty sure I could only fucking last, uh, seconds if a mob was to come here. We have here in the city, we have a mob problem. You guys don't. You know, you can see the people coming, whereas us, before by the time we see them, it's too late. So it's uh, it's a
Yeah, I
shit.
mean, I'll probably have like a day's advance notice, and there's a whole lot that you can do. There's a whole lot you can get done in a day, especially if you've already got stuff staged.
I mean, hell yeah, that's the again, that's the allure with living outside of somewhere other than the city. I mean, I'd love to live out there. My fucking, my job, and then my wife, she doesn't want to move too far from the city, so I get it. Well, with my wife, I get it, and the job, it is what it is. I can't move too far, but I can move out into a rural area. But to have the advantages that you guys have, that's awesome. That's a very that's something I definitely want to do, and I do not mind doing the work that comes with owning land in the house. You know, that's the other thing. I'm ready for it, and I think personally it keeps you younger longer, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about it is you seem like you're on your toes a lot, and it's got to be stressful living in the city like that. I mean, I know that you're used to it, and it's your environment. So I mean, you've adapted to your environment. But if somebody like me to come to where you are, I would lose my crap trying to. I wouldn't be. I would. It would be hard for me to handle it, I guess, is what I'm saying.
You would adapt. A lot of people do that. I mean, there is a bit of a shell shock that happens when people come here. They're like, not shell shock, but there's a term for it when you come to a city like New York, if you, especially coming from a rural area. Nameless 777. The name of his channel is Arkansas Living, and that's the guest I have on today. Again, all the new members, thank you. I'm going to read out your names in a couple of minutes, so give me a chance to get to it. But again, guys, thank you for uh, you know joining the Angryprepper member page or club. Sorry, if you will. So, um, next question, and I have to ask this question because I ask this of all my guests. You had to bug out, and you are going dark secrets. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. You have to bug out, and midway in the bug out, you see uh, Prepper Cash laying in the middle of the woods. Not laying in the middle of the woods, but you notice it. They tried to cover it with some dirt and some leaves and shit, and you see it out the corner of your eye. Do you take it or do you leave it?
If uh, if my kids and my family are desperate, I'll take it. If it's just me, I don't need it, and I would rather leave it so that whoever put it there can come back and get it.
That's a and like I tell people all the time, there's no right or wrong answer, and that was probably one of the better answers, if you will. Release. I'm probably gonna change the name now. Thanks, Great Man Prepping. I'm probably gonna change the name to the club thing. All right. So, what was your biggest lesson or mistake? Sorry, made living your life. I don't want to say prepping because it's a lifestyle to you. So, what was your biggest mistake made doing what you do?
As far as
I guess
as far as
prepping,
far
hunting, gardening.
um, don't underestimate folks. I mean, even if some of your best allies might be people that you at once thought, at some time and that you thought were inept or incapable, might at some time be some of your greatest allies. And keep that in mind, especially whenever you're trying to build relationships with your neighbors and that kind of deal.
It's tough for me, man. I hate people. I am not a people like when it comes to trusting people. I'm a little more guarded, um, especially what with everything going on. It's a little more tougher to trust people. I'm watching people backpedal like a motherfucker right now. Sorry, because of this whole like Trump shit. People are trying to disown Trump. People are trying to distance themselves from the right. You have people distancing themselves from the left as well. So it's just hard when people turn like that and they turn so quickly. I'm less likely to trust them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And something that just came to my mind, if I don't, I mean, I ain't, I don't want to redact my previous answer, but at the same time, I kind of think I got a better one.
Go with it.
I think one of the worst things that I've done. What's happening? Oh, you froze for a minute.
Did I?
Um, Well, I think one of the worst mistakes that I've ever made is from whether you're talking about just growing up or manhood or prepping or anything, um, is trying to ignore my dad and ignore my grandpa and thinking that I knew more than what I did. And that go I think that could be applied to a lot of in a lot of different ways.
That makes no. You're right. That makes a lot of sense. It's funny when your father gets older, or you get older, you look back and you're like, "Fuck!" The questions I should have asked when they were coherent, alive, younger. You miss that once you get older. And you're right. Not listening to them on certain things. You're just like, "Fuck! Why didn't I?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is what it is. All right, guys. So first of all, let me get this out of the way real quick. Arkin, they said you froze on that side, but you're fine over here. You're fine with me. No, you're you're fine on my side. I think you came back. Yeah, you should be fine. All right, guys. So let me get this out of the way. All right, guys. So for joining the Angry Prepper member club, uh, Monica DeClaro, thank you for joining the club. Greg, Lori, Northern Girl Hobbies, Mary, Hempenis, thank you. Jules Goldstein, Cleon Princess, Random Gene, Culinary Growers Organic, Native and Devout Prepper. Sorry, Pamela, thank you for joining. Gray Man, Grim Survival, thank you. Ricky, Hutch Homestead, Kevin Grip, and Mam's Legacy. I hope I'm saying that right. Guys, thank you for joining the club. We're going to try to keep this club a little more fast and loose than the actual channel. So we might do live streams, if you will, where shit will get out of control. And we'll talk about prepping, but it'll be a little more crazier. I don't know how much more crazier it can get than my usual live streams, but we're gonna try to see if we can top it. Um, Other than that, again, guys, thank you for joining the club. I appreciate it, and also thank you for the donations ahead of time. So we have a couple minutes before I have to go off and head over to the other channel. Um, so in regards to prepping, and I hate saying that to you because you're you're not a prepper. I mean, this is your lifestyle. This is what you do. So there's a lot of things you don't see like I see. I find certain things, guys like yourself who do shit on a daily basis, amazing because you do it on a daily basis. But um, because the state you live in, I already know the answer to this. But do you? Well, rather not do you. What is your favorite firearm for house protection?
For house protection, I got a short barreled 870 that I keep by the bed with a light on it. And that's what I like for in the house. And I think, especially anybody that's got kids and stuff like that, you need to have a light on your weapon.
Oh,
I don't really have to worry about over penetration or anything like that. I just like an 870. But I mean, a lot of people that's in town and stuff like that, you don't want to use an AR or any kind of other high powered, deal like that because you're liable to. Which I mean, depending on what shells you're using, 870 will go a long ways through a wall. But I like a shotgun with a light on it. I generally keep my concealed carry pistol or concealed carry pistol, I guess you'd call it, the pistol that I keep on me all the time. I keep it right over there next to me on the nightstand all the time too. But I I don't know. I mean, it kind of depends on the situation. I mean, I got a 1022 by the back door with a light on it too, and that's just for shooting coons and coyotes in the backyard. And as far as somebody breaking into my house or something like that,
That's not gonna happen.
I really, well, I prefer a shotgun, but if I can't get the shotgun, I got something laying next to me.
I mean,
But
so not for nothing. I have to ask this question then, since you said that. What's the crime rate by you? It's got to be super fucking low.
yeah, I mean, every now and then we'll run into somebody that stole something. I mean, it's pretty low. I mean, you got to think of our population density is like 14 people per square mile, and they're gathered up in the county seat for the most part.
Okay.
You know, I mean, if somebody knocks on my door in the middle of the night, they'll knock on it even though the door's open. I guess if that makes any sense. You know, I mean, we don't even lock all our doors.
Well, shit.
Yeah, it ain't no big deal.
That's crazy. I mean, okay, so walk it back a little bit. In the city, like the building I live in, you can leave your door unlocked. I know. I mean, I have in the past. My wife is not a big fan of it, but no one's ever gonna like just welcome themselves in. You know. Um, yeah, I think you're frozen. Shit. We almost made it through, guys. All right, so uh, Arkansas Living is now frozen. So, oh, he's back. There you go. Yeah, you froze for a little bit. All right, so that's good. Uh, damn it, man! I lost my fucking train of thought. What was the last thing I said to you before you froze? I was like, frozen in time. Some of the comments like frozen in time. He got stuck. That's grim. Pepper one, shit, man! I forgot what the hell I was talking about. What we? Oh,
No, we
leaving the
was
door open.
talking about leaving the doors open.
Right, and here in the city, you can leave the door open in an apartment building. Depends on how many people you know in a building. You know, so like when I grew up, this is my parents' place. When I grew up here, you could leave the door open. No one was gonna come in, and if they did, it was one of my boys that I grew up with or somebody you knew. But if you move into a high crime area like Harlem, but my building isn't, but like Harlem, you're more likely to keep your doors locked. If that makes sense. But you guys, you don't have that you don't have that problem. That's great. That's great that you can leave your door open, and then your one of your boys come over, he just walks right in. You know, um, obviously a person like myself is not going to just walk right in. I'm going to knock. See, my wife goes, we lock our doors, but like before this whole COVID shit, I'd leave the door open most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of grew up like that. I mean, I'll leave the house, and I mean, even if, well, I probably ought not put this on the internet, but I mean, even if my daughters, I mean, they get home off the school bus or something like that, if I'm not home yet, they leave the back door open, and a lot of times I'll leave the back door open for them, and they'll go in there and work on their stuff or whatever,
All
and
right.
it just ain't, it's just not a thing, I mean, I can call my neighbors and be like, hey, y'all need me to pick up some stuff when I go to town here in a little while, or whatever. It's just not a deal, it's it's been hard for me to understand, um, and no offense to you, Jason, at all, but it's been hard for me to understand, um, how some of y'all deal with, the intense security that y'all need and that kind of thing, with all the bad people that y'all got running around and all that kind of deal, because we just don't have to deal with it.
Um, yeah, it's well. Listen, I grew up around this, so I'm used to it. I'm pretty sure if you moved here, that aspect of it, you might have an issue with it. I don't think you adjusting to the area would be an issue. I think the crime would be an issue because you don't have it by you. I mean, what does your sheriff see? One or two fucking robberies a year, or like a dispute. every now and again. They don't have the same crime volume like we do here in New York or Detroit or California. You know.
Well, and it's just like when I asked you earlier about how many calls y'all got on the fire department and that kind of deal.
All right.
We're like a 10-person fire department, and I mean, we get, we don't, I mean, you see me with sitting here with my beard. It's not like I'm putting scuba equipment on all the time.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? When we get called, it's usually something bad, but you're talking about like maybe 8 times a year we actually get called out to get the fire engine out, that kind of deal.
Right. Right.
And we're not actually going up in a structure most of the time. We're just trying to make sure it doesn't spread to somebody else's structure.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. So, it's a completely different environment.
That's interesting because I mean the best part of the job is going inside, and I mean that's me. That's me and my stupidity. New Frontier man, thank you for joining the club, man. I appreciate it. I did get that right, right? Yeah. All right, guys. So we're about to go off the air. We're about an hour and 1 minute in. For those of you that are interested, you can head over to the Angry Truth channel. I'm going on over there in 10 minutes. So real quick, let's do the Prepper channel naming thing that I like doing. We're going to start from the top to the bottom. All right, so let's start out. First of all, let's start out with Arkansas Living. Like and subscribe to this channel. I'm 1,000% sure you guys, we're digging this interview and digging him. So do me a favor, head over to his channel now, like and subscribe to that. So with that, we have NY Prepper's channel, Prepper Now, Prepper 101, Prepper 21. I haven't seen anything from Prepper 21 in a while. I'm not sure if he's still making videos or I'm just not getting his notifications. You have SC Prepper, Prepping Outside the Box, who's been pumping videos out like his life depended on it. Financial Prepper, I haven't seen anything from him in a while, so check his channel out anyway. I interviewed him a few months ago now. Be Ready Today, Me Being Cheap, TJ Preps, you guys know who that is. Prepper Nation, Pinball Preparedness, Magic Prepper, North Shore Preparedness, Grim Survival, Southern Boy Prepper, Alaska Prepper, Prepping for Life, Prepper Nurse 1, Alaskan Ballistic, Hutch Homestead, Prepper Princess, Prepper Tribe, Faithful Prepper, Autumn Backyard Gardens. If I'm not mistaken, she's doing a live stream. She's doing a live stream on somebody's channel on the 13th, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody please put the exact time and date in the chat, please. Let's see. Southern Prepping Perspective, Bear Independent, Happy Prepper, that's a kid. Shrimp Zoo, Prepper Nerd, Homestead Oss, Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, Bushcraft Family, Bug Out Bishudo, I'll be doing an interview with him soon. Gemini Prepper, Great Man Prepping, Survival Living. This is a lot, guys. Mother Nature Works, Southern Safety, Zen Prepper, Papa Prepper, Autoimmune Prepper, RV Repair Remodel Prep Channel, Random Gene, Tennessee Tactical 1, Native Devout Preppers, Cherokee Survival, Northern Homegirl Hobby. Thank you for joining the club again. Rip Curl, and I think that's it. And then there's my channel. If you guys haven't heard, I'm the Angry Prepper. Like and subscribe to my channel as well. Other than that, guys, do me a favor. For those of you that haven't yet, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't, if not, head over to, if you have, head over to the Angry Truth channel. I'll be doing a live stream on that. Arkansas Living Man, I appreciate you being on the channel. I thought I was gonna have to chase you for a bit, but that didn't happen, so that's cool. So that's cool. Again, I do appreciate you being on the channel with me. This is not going to be the last time. Obviously, I'm planning to do a prepper hangout. I was supposed to start last month, but it didn't happen. So I want to do a prepper hangout with like 4 or 3 of us at a time, talking about random shit. And it's going to be on this channel and the Angry Truth channel as well. So we could talk about political shit without, people harassing us. That makes
Man,
sense.
it's been cool being here. I sure am glad that you gave me the opportunity to come visit with you.
Well, like I said, man, in fairness, I do watch people a little longer now. You know, I've had spoken to some nuts, and thank God that's where it ended. It was on the phone or via email, and they wanted to be on the show. But the more I dug deeper, if you will, the more their nuttery started coming out, and I was like, oh, can't have this person on my show. You know, so that's the name of the
Yeah.
game these days, man. Fucking trying to figure everyone out. Other than that, guys, we are going to be on the Angry Truth channel in 6 minutes. We're going to end this right now. Again, Arkansas Living, guys. This is the guy I interviewed today. I'm 1,000% sure you guys enjoyed the interview and his straightforwardness. And the reason why I didn't curse a lot tonight was because he twisted my arm and told me I couldn't. So I said, I said, yeah, man, whatever you want, and then that was that. It's that easy when it's a guest on. But the Angry Truth channel, I might be cursing up a storm because I didn't curse here. So the outlet's going to be on that channel now.
You're gonna have to let all the stuff out
Yeah,
that you want to say.
it's gonna fly. It's gonna fly loose on that channel. All right, all right, guys. Listen. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.